49-28. The Bozeman Hawks are your Class AA state football champions. We're going to check in once again with Caitlin Corbett and our whole sports crew, and they've been at Naranche Stadium in Butte all night long. They're very cold. Caitlin, what's going on?
We're back here at Naranche Stadium where the Bozeman Hawks are your 2019 Class AA state champs. What a game it was. 49-28 was that final score. Nick, is it fair to say this was an upset?
Butte being an undefeated team, Bozeman losing to one of the bottom teams in week 2. A lot of people counted the Hawks out. A total upset here, but a commanding victory by Bozeman. They made Naranche pretty quiet there in this fourth quarter. So it was a pretty wild game. Not many people saw coming.
And what were some of the biggest plays that really solidified this victory for the Hawks?
Well, let's take a look back at them. We got 3 big key plays. The first is going to start out on Butte's side in the first quarter. Tommy Malott, the future Bobcat, going to a wide open Jake Olson for a catch. That put the Dogs up 7-0 early, but Bozeman responded. Jake DiAgostino going to Kenneth Iden. He bounces off a man on his way to the end zone. That took it 14-7 Hawks. And this is where things got put away. A pick 6 by number 72, Cameron Spencer. That iced the game in the fourth quarter as the Hawks go on to almost score 50 points in this game against Bozeman. Yeah, fair to say, big upset. Those are your key plays. It was a pretty wild atmosphere that not a lot of people saw coming.
And one of the key players was Asher Croy. I mean, he could have just run all game. And you actually talked to him. You were down on the field. What did he have to say?
Well, Ari Gray and the Butte coach said earlier this week that they had to control the trenches because of Asher Croy, a future Montana Grizzly. Yeah, he ran everywhere, a Huntley Project kid. And he was really excited, as I mentioned, moved to Huntley Project from to Bozeman last year, a first member of this Hawks team. Here's what he had to say after the big win.
Me and my dad have been chasing this forever, and we never would have guessed that we wound up in Bozeman. But to win it here with my brothers, was just the best feeling ever. I knew that this was a team that was more than capable of this, and to actually show everybody and show all the state that just means a lot.
Okay, so now we're actually going to step out of frame for just a second here because there are still quite a few Hawks down on the field right now taking pictures, congratulating each other. Nick, you were down there the whole entire game. What was the atmosphere like with the team, with the players, everyone?
I think the most emotional I saw was when Levi Wesche found Will Disley in the crowd. Will actually caught a couple of flights out here last minute. He was going to go to Cat Grizz, but he couldn't miss this game, of course. Will Disley, a Seattle Seahawk, played in this 2012 championship game when Butte kicked that 46-yard field goal. It lost in heartbreak. I talked to Will after the game. He said it was kind of a little bit of revenge, but other than that, Levi Wesche was almost in tears. The players were super excited to take the home stake trophy back to Bozeman once again. You can see him on the field now, still celebrating. Lights are just about turned off, a couple of them, but they are pretty excited. The score still remains 49-28. Bozeman winning your Class AA state championship. So fair to say, an amazing atmosphere and well-deserved for the Hawks this year.
And what do you think to hoist that trophy in the final year as Bozeman High School as one before the split happens? I mean, that's a big thing.
It's a big thing for this rivalry, too. You got to think, when Bozeman Gallatin High School comes in, it's going to be the Raptors and the Hawks.
And the Hawks.
Maybe this rivalry with Butte fades away a little bit, so to have one more memory of this, especially for Bozeman, is really, I think these kids are going to cherish it for a long time. But I think they're going to miss having a big team. But you got to keep growing.
You got to keep growing.
It's going to be weird next year, but you just soak in what's behind you.
It's going to be fun. Nothing is better than this. And what a game it was. Our coverage is not done here. We're going to have more coming up for you in sports. But for now, let's send it back to you in the studio.